My name is Kaylee. I have lost 40 pounds sustainably over the last year and a half, and I want to talk to you today about calorie deficits because the amount of misinformation that women are being fed, all for profit, in my opinion, is exhausting, and it's not fair to you. If you have ever thought, well, I'm eating clean, I'm moving more, but I'm not losing the fat, this is the video for you. Today, I'm going to be debunking some of the myths surrounding calorie deficits rooted in science, including what they are, how long you should actually be in a calorie deficit for, and the signs that your body will give you when it is time to stop and transition. So we're going to cut through all of this noise that's on social media, all of this noise that's everywhere. We are going to get back to the science of it. Not fear tactic. This is not clickbait. This is real biology, real science. This is how your body works when it comes to calorie deficits. Again, this is coming from someone who has sustainably lost over 30 to 40 pounds in the last year and a half and kept it off. Educated myself on how the body works, the science behind it, the science behind calorie deficits and maintenance and all of these things, all of that into action, and I saw the results, as you can see from the images that I've shared. Let's talk about what a calorie deficit is first. Clear this up. Let's clear the air. What is a calorie deficit? A calorie deficit means you are consistently consuming fewer calories than your body is burning, which forces your body to use that stored energy, aka the fat, as fuel. That is the science of a calorie deficit. This is where I think it gets a little bit tricky, a little bit murky when it maybe comes to women. Most women think if they just slash their calories in half, the weight will come off. Or if they go down to like the 1100, 1200 calorie favorite of the world, the weight will just melt off. If you are in too big of a deficit, you are essentially starving and stressing your body out. But the body is adaptable, so it will try to adapt to that level that you've put it at. Metabolism also is not static. You eat too little for too long, your body's like, okay, cool, I guess we're surviving a famine of sorts. We'll start to conserve all of that energy. And then you're gonna start to feel tired and moody and bloated. That scale is not gonna budge. That's, end game. End game right there. So here's the truth. I don't know where this notion came in, and if this is you, please listen to this video. You should not be in a calorie deficit forever. You should not be in a calorie deficit for years. You should not be in a calorie deficit for months. I don't know where this notion came in, and I will be honest, a couple years ago, I was misinformed and miseducated myself. I did not know really the science behind it all, how long you should be in X, Y, and Z, what even maintenance was. Like, I didn't know hardly anything. And so you learn very quickly that you cannot be in a sustainable weight loss and be in the calorie deficit for longer, for months on end, for years on end. That is just not how it works. For most women, what I have read and heard and seen is a safe weight loss phase, a fat burning phase, a calorie deficit phase is between 8 and 12 weeks, maximum. Anything after that, body needs a break. It needs a rest period. That is what we call the maintenance period. I can do a whole separate video on that because it's different from what we're talking about here today. If you're interested, just comment, let me know if you would like to hear about maintenance on its own. But if you have been dieting for months or even years and that scale obviously is not moving, not constantly tired, you're maybe losing hair, your periods are irregular as a woman, that is not willpower, that is not discipline, that is your body screaming at you to nourish it, to feed it. It is underfueled, it is underfed, period. Dieting is a stressor on your body. It is. It stresses your body out. Body, especially as a woman, needs seasons of nourishment, cover to balance your hormones, heal from the stress that you just put it under. This is where the whole reverse dieting or maintenance period that I just talked about comes into play. No one really wants to talk about that because it's not the sexy side of things, like, oh, I've done a calorie deficit, I've lost the weight. But the real work begins when you have to maintain that weight loss. And how do you do that? And how do you do that in the long term? And how do you do that in a long-term kind of way? And maintenance, or whatever you want to call it, people call it reverse dieting, I call it maintenance period. You kind of want to be in maintenance after you've lost the weight and you've gotten to whatever your goal weight is, or you've gotten to wherever. You kind of want to be in maintenance forever, unless you want to do another calorie deficit again at some point. But no one really talks about that a lot. And that is the key. Like, you've lost this weight, so then how do you get back to, sort of maintaining that weight? Which again, I can do in a whole other video, but that is essential. That is essential. And it's also, like I said, you don't want to be in a calorie deficit for months, years on end. You want to be 8 to 12 weeks maximum, and you want to go into a maintenance period to give yourself a break. And if you want to go back into a calorie deficit after the maintenance period is over, however long you end up doing maintenance, then do that, because you've given your body a chance to sort of reset, recalibrate, and be a little more fueled than it was when you were on the calorie deficit. So, how do you know when it is time to stop a calorie deficit? There are some glaring signs that your body will give you, and I am a big proponent of being very in tune with your body. Like, you need to understand warning signs. You need to understand subtle cues that your body is going to give you. And this is not even like outside of a calorie deficit. This is just in general. I am so in tune with my body. I know when something is slightly off, when something is really off. I know, like, oh, I've eaten this, so this is causing this. Like, I know what's going on. So here are some signs that you need to maybe stop your calorie deficit and go into maintenance for a little bit if you're experiencing these things. Constant fatigue and tiredness and brain fog. Even though you're getting enough sleep, you're still feeling the constant fatigue. You're having these intense cravings or these binge episodes where maybe you binge potato chips, maybe you're eating too few calories. If you have plateaued in your weight loss for, let's say, 3 weeks consistently, but you're doing everything right, you're doing your calorie deficit, you're exercising, you're getting your cardio, all of the things, but your weight loss has plateaued, it might be time to relook at things a little bit. If your hair is thinning, or you're having any sort of hair issues at all, or if you're having any sort of skin issues, your mood is up and down, it's not consistent, if you're having very bad mood swings, you're not lazy, you're not failing at your calorie deficit, you're not failing in general, you're just stuck in a loop that your body cannot survive in. It needs a break from what you're doing. Again, calorie deficits stress your body out. Your body needs a break. That is just how this works. Just how it works. So I want to be very clear about something because I'm very passionate about this. I just think science is science, biology is biology, and you cannot rewrite how your body was made so to function and things like that. So calories in versus calories out is still science. It's still science. You cannot change that fact of science, no matter what program you're trying to sell. And you know what? False advertising. I get so fired up when I see people try to sell things to people on social media, and it is not rooted in facts, it's not rooted in science, and it's not rooted ultimately in truth. And I feel like that is the massive biggest form of false advertising. And I also feel like it is a detriment to that person's health and wellness and weight loss journey or whatever it is that they're on, because it's not going to work. because it's not rooted in truth and in facts and in science. So, if you eat more calories than your body uses consistently, you will store that excess energy as fat in your body. That usually means what? Gaining fat, gaining weight. If you eat fewer calories than your body is burning consistently over time, you lose the fat, you lose the weight. It's not a diet trend, it's not a gimmick, it's not false advertising. That is literal biology, that is literal science, that is how the body works, how it was designed to function. The part that keeps getting twisted that I see everywhere that I just talked about, especially with women, is how that science is applied. Because a calorie deficit does not mean starvation. I don't know where in the history of things at all, I have not kept track of it, I don't know where a calorie deficit was sold to be a starvation method, or it has this negative connotation about starvation around it. I don't know, but it drives me insane because a calorie deficit is not about starving yourself. Weight gain at the same time does not also mean failure. It means energy surplus. That's it. That's all. It's new. It's natural. That is what it is. So I want to give you some perspective before I get into like demystifying or debunking some of the major myths around calorie deficits. I just want to set the scene. Your brain alone burns 300 to 400 calories a day just to function. Just to function. And that's before you even go and do a workout of any sort. It's 20% of your total daily needs gone before you even move your body. That's your brain. When you're told to eat 1,200 calories a day, you're barely feeding your brain, let alone your muscles, your organs, your workout. You wonder why you feel anxious and tired, stuck. Not that your body's broken, it's that you're underfueled, you're undernourished, you're fed. I mean, so again, here's what fires me up. Women are constantly being sold and have historically been sold the idea that eating less is the answer to everything. To everything. Why? Because restriction sells. It's profitable. Fear sells. Sells. And the diet industry profits off of this. Profits off of women thinking that their body is a problem that they need to solve. Well, I'm going to shut down some of the worst myths that I think are out there, that I hear women consistently repeating when it comes to calorie deficits, and it drives me insane, so I want to talk about it. You're taught from a very young age that smaller is better. Hunger is a strength. Carbs are the enemy. That taking up less space somehow makes us a little bit more worthy. But I want to be very, very clear. You can be in a calorie deficit and still eat voluminous, rich meals. You can lose fat without cutting carbs, sugar. You can lose fat without cutting carbs, sugar, or even skipping dinner with your friends. You can lose weight without going to war with your body. So let's bust a few of the myths that drive me insane. Number one, you have to eat 1,200 calories to lose weight. That is toddler intake, straight up. Most adult women can be in a deficit and eat between 1,600 and 2,000 calories and lose weight, depending on, again, your body makeup, your muscle mass, activity level, etc. There's a few things. I have a breakdown of a TDEE calculator that will help you calculate your calorie deficit that you should be in another video. I'll link it below for you. But I'm going to be very honest with you. I have done the 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 calorie deficit before. However, what I do is I am in a healthy calorie deficit for my body, for my height, my weight, my activity level, all of these things, all calculated. And I have done this several times now. I'm in a very healthy calorie deficit, and then when I want to do like a very aggressive week or two, like where I'm really just trying to shed the extra pounds in a very aggressive, meticulous way, I will go down to that level. And I don't do it for long. I do it for 1 to 2 weeks, and then I'm back up either at the other level I was at a calorie deficit, or I'm going into a maintenance plan at that point. Because you will realize very quickly when you are eating that low, and when you train like I train and like many women and men train in the gym with strength training, and you're trying to lift really heavy weights, you really can't lift heavy weights when you are eating that low. So I have to even adjust my workout level when I'm eating that low, because I can't do what I normally do in the gym. And so you have to consider all of these things, and you also just have to know the facts. Know what I talked about earlier. If you are eating at that level, number one, don't do it for long. Don't do it for long, because that is not sustainable. Do it for a very short, quick time. I know that you are going to have brain fog. Know that you're going to feel a certain way. Know that, your body's going to not like it very much, but you're going to come out of it in a week or two. That is if you want to do that. It is not required to do that. You do not have to do that in a calorie deficit. You can eat, again, between, let's just say 1,600 to 2,000 calories, whatever your calculation is, you can eat at that and be perfectly fine. And again, this all very much depends on your height, your weight already, your activity level, at a few things. So maybe you are someone who is a little shorter and your calorie deficit is 1,200 calories. Okay, that's different from the 5'9" girl who weighs 180 pounds. Do you know what I'm saying? So it is not one size fits all. That drives me insane. It is not a blanketed system. My calorie deficit is going to be very different from your calorie deficit. And that is on science, and that is on your body, and that is on my body. Okay. Myth number 2 is that carbs are bad. Carbs are your body's preferred energy source, and I can go into a whole other video talking about carbs entirely, because it is a whole just can of worms in my opinion. But if you cut out carbs entirely, and if carbs are your body's preferred energy source, then your workouts, in my opinion, can suffer a little bit. Hormones, your mental clarity, and I'm not saying you have to eat an astronomical amount of carbs, but carbs are, again, your body's preferred energy source. So they're not bad. They have their place in sort of the macro ecosystem, if you will, and they do a very particular thing. They can definitely be abused. They can definitely contribute to weight gain in a variety of ways, and I can talk about carbs in another video and go a lot deeper, but essentially myth number 2 is that carbs are bad, and they're not, period. Myth number 3 is that you need to feel miserable in order to see results. No, period. No, I don't know where this notion came from at all whatsoever, but it's wrong. It's wrong. If your weight loss plan that you're on is making you feel exhausted and tired and moody and cranky and all the things that I said previously in the video, and it's also causing like this really weird, I shouldn't say weird, but it's causing this obsession with food, that's red flags. Red flags. Cut it. Call it a day. You're done. You need to rethink the way that you're thinking about things. You need to really do some self-work, because you do not need to feel miserable in a calorie deficit to see results. You don't. If you are eating at what I just said, which is like 1,600 to 2,000 calories, you can eat a well-rounded meal plan at that caloric level and feel great. Period. So, you guys, you don't need to feel exhausted to see results. Myth number 5, you have to earn your food through exercise. False. Exercise is not punishment. I don't know. I hate that this marketing scheme has taken over the world over the last however many years. And it has just like brainwashed people into thinking like, oh, and you know what I hate? When you see, oh, if I have an Oreo, this is X amount of time on the treadmill. Oh my God, eat the Oreo. Eat the Oreo. You are fine. Exercise is not a punishment. Exercise is a way of taking care of your body. You have one body, you have one life. You are to steward this body well. You are to take care of this body well. This is a body to be proud of, to be confident in, to feel secure in, to feel strong and capable. And that is what I want women to feel. I want you to feel strong and capable. I want you to feel strong, beautiful, because you are, and you've worked hard, and you have a great body. Like, you have one body. Take care of it. You need to nourish it. You need to fuel it. That is how the body works. So yes, you can lose weight in a calorie deficit and not be starving yourself and not be restricting yourself overly to a point where it becomes issue after issue after issue. Again, the goal is never to be small. It is to be strong. It is to be capable, be energized, and it is to be in control of your health and to steward your body and your health in a way that is beneficial for you in the long term. I will end this video with this because, again, I could talk about this all day. I get fired up talking about this, clearly. I have lived this whole thing. I have done the under eating, done the overtraining, that punishment mindset. Truth really is that I did not feel powerful and strong in that body and in that mindset, but I do now. I fuel my workouts, I fuel my body, I lift heavy, I rest well, and I live my life. I talked about in one of my other videos, the 98-2 rule that my boyfriend and I have. 98% of the time, we're eating here, we're cooking, we're eating whole meals, we're fueling our body in a way that works well for us, our workouts, our calorie deficits, whatever we're in, that is how we eat. 2% of our lives, we're living our lives. We're going out to eat. He's having a beer at a football game. Whatever it is, whatever that looks like, you have to live your life because yes, you are going to burn out if you do not live your life, even in a calorie deficit. Period. So if this resonated with you at all, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any other questions about calorie deficits. I've done a lot of videos. I have, how to start strength training as a beginner, macros versus calories. I walk through a whole TDEE calculator. I talk about why cardio alone is not going to help you build that fat or burn that fat. And all of those are linked on my channel. They're all under my weight loss and fitness journey playlist. I am very clearly passionate about this subject. Again, I myself have lost over 40 pounds in the last year and a half sustainably. I've kept it off and I plan to keep it off. So I have done the research. I have done this research. I get a little obsessive over research, but there is science behind this. There's facts behind this. Again, this was not clickbait. This was not me trying to lie to you. This is the truth of how calorie deficits work. I have so much more coming your way. If you are interested in this, you want to join for the journey. I clearly am new here to YouTube, but I'm happy to have you. I hope that this video was helpful. And if you're interested, subscribe, stick around, join the community, join the crew. And if this was also helpful and you think that a friend would benefit from hearing it, then share it with them. Like the video. It obviously helps with all the YouTube algorithm things for me in particular. But yeah, let's just keep debunking this stuff together with real science, real facts. I will see you in the next one.